There's no such thing as a small disaster. So when you call 1-800-WATER-DAMAGE of North Dakota, we come prepared to restore your life back to normal. From burst pipes to unexpected mold discoveries or fire damage, when things couldn't be worse, we come to you with our best. With empathy, local expertise, and a truck full of seriously powerful equipment. 1-800-WATER-DAMAGE of North Dakota. Restoring what matters most. 701-670-2022.
Hi, I'm Meteorologist Lisa Green, and welcome to this Valley News Now weather update brought to you by 1-800-WATER-DAMAGE of North Dakota. So today we are looking at conditions that are unfortunately on the murky side, on the slippery side for those areas getting some ice thanks to the freezing fog. We had a little freezing drizzle yesterday. We may see more of that today. And so it's just one of those kind of gloomy starts to the week. It makes you want to stay indoors. So as people are heading back to work and school, might as well when it's just such a crummy day outside anyway. But we're going to talk about how long this fog will last and what we can expect for the week ahead. The one good thing, which is also kind of part of what's caused the fog, is that we've got warmer air that's moved in. And that's really nice to have milder temperatures here as we head into the week. And temperatures that aren't doing wild swings either. So we're going to talk about all of this here. It is a first alert weather day, specifically a first alert weather morning. Though I could extend this into the afternoon because we are looking at fog hanging around, and it's actually worsened in a lot of places here this morning. Here's a view of the Dakota Magic Casino sky cam. It's not much of one. We are looking at visibility so low that it's tough. You can see the flags kind of waving in the breeze that we've got going on, but it's really tough to see with the fog that we have in place here this morning. And so that's really worsened over the course of the morning. It was a lot better, but we have seen that view get worse here over time. And then let's take a look at, we'll move ahead to our next image if we can. Here we go. Let's look a little farther north. This is the view on the tri-level in Fargo. You can see tri-level is again that interchange between I-29 and I-94. It is a little dirty on the camera view, a lot of road spray going on with our wet roads, but also you can just see that visibility is lowered in this area too. It's not quite as bad as what we're seeing down at the Dakota Magic Casino. Sorry, I was trying to multitask here. I'm going to bring up our view from the camera at the Red River Valley Fairgrounds too, and this also really helps to tell the story. You can see that visibility pretty low. You can see the parking lot there in the fairgrounds, but not much beyond it. So that's not very far. That's the equivalent of a block or so that you can see down. So that gives you an idea of what we're dealing with there. And then farther north, Grand Forks has had some fog. We've been seeing areas of fog that have not been as extensive, at least from what I've seen so far. But we are looking at fog that's also caused some frost on the trees, actually creating some pretty views here, but that also goes to show you that there may be frost on our roads and on our sidewalks and decks and porches here. So keep that in mind as you are stepping out the door here for today. So again, it is a foggy one here, so we'll continue to track this for you. Let's take a look at our visibility reports. As I mentioned, it has worsened. And so you can see that we've got some reports where if you were watching the valley today, we had maybe a couple of places. It was Gwinner and Cooperstown and Rolla and Valley City that were mostly around a quarter-mile visibility. At times we saw a couple of those locations drop down to 0, but now they're all solidly near 0 for visibility. And then on top of that, other places that have seen our visibility worsen, Wahpeton and Fergus Falls and Elbow Lake, all reporting 0 visibility. Wheaton at a quarter mile. This is some of our closer sites to that site. I'm pointing right at where the Dakota Magic Casino happens to be. So right in line with what we're seeing there. Fargo visibility at the airport and at Grand Forks Airport is at 1.5 miles. So not as bad, but certainly an indication that we've got some moisture in the air. Visibility is reduced. It's just a murky morning, and with temperatures below freezing, we're looking at some slick spots out there. And speaking of, here's a look at our road conditions. This is our map here that we use in our system. at Valley News Live. I'm going to pull up our website again and just kind of step through what each DOT site is showing. So you go to our homepage, go to valleynewslive.com/weather. And then once you get there, there's some menus here where you can select road conditions. And then that brings up road maps for the Dakotas, Minnesota, and Manitoba too, if you're thinking about heading north. And so here's a look at North Dakota. This breaks down conditions nicely because it shows not just ice and snow, but it also shows frost and wet roads. Anywhere where we have light blue there, that's where we're looking at the frost on the road. So that's this light blue area here on our layers, in our legend rather. And so you can see Devil's Lake area up into parts of northeast North Dakota really coming in with that light blue frost. Then there's places where it's just straight up patchy ice in yellow, kind of surrounding that area, stretching down by Valley City where it's been pretty foggy into Richland County. And then the deeper blue is wet or slushy roads, most likely wet roads at this point along I-29 around Fargo and West Fargo, Wahpeton, back up to Grand Forks. But as you go up to Grand Forks, you can see we get into that patchy frost on the north side of town. So this is, again, going to be a factor for us today as long as our temperatures remain below freezing. And even as they rise above, then we've got wet roads, and that's not nice either. Hopefully you got your windshield washer fluid topped off today. So looking at visibility, that's pretty low in Minnesota. These dots on the map here on your layers, let me go to our legend rather. That shows where visibility is at 1/10 of a mile or less when they're close together like that. So you can see that happening here in that parts of Highway 59 and Highway 34 in and around Detroit Lakes, around Highway 10, down through Perham. And then back over along southeastern parts of Becker County from Highway 10 to Monaga. You can see that we've got light slush being reported on the roadway and visibility that's pretty low on Minnesota Highway 87. And then Highway 59, that really low visibility stretches down to Pelican Rapids. Other places where the dots are more spaced out, that's where we're looking at visibility at 1/2 mile or less. That's still dense fog. So that's being reported throughout much of Otter Tail County and over toward places like Wilkin and Traverse and Grant County. Looks like there's a traffic incident reported near Alexandria. Not seeing details on that right now, just that a traffic incident has been reported. So that's something to look out for if you're going to be traveling here in the next few minutes in that area. And then I do want to take a look at, we'll go back to our layers, we'll go to cameras. Actually, we'll go to plow cameras. And so we've got some plows out working on treating the roads. Here's one working on the shoulder right now. It looks like on Highway 34. Pretty sight. I'll go back to that. You can see the frost on the trees there, just not so pretty on the road. And another view, you can see the sheen on the road here, so it's likely wet or, you know, some patchy ice going on there. And then let's see what they're reporting now that I mentioned it. Light slush on roadway. Visibility is 1/10 of a mile or less. Okay, so, you know, we've got roads that have some issues with wet roads, ice, frost, and then low visibility too. And so that's why we have our advisory in effect here for today. So let's talk about how things are looking for us here. So this is our view of Valley City. I just checked in on Valley City because that's an area that's been struggling quite a bit since this morning. So we're kind of locked in the fog here. Looking at zero visibility being reported. The wind is out there, but it's pretty light at 8 miles per hour. And wind has generally been out of the south or southeast. And so our fog planner for Valley City, this particular model is showing some improvement as we head through the morning, but still staying murky even through the afternoon and evening hours. We're looking at murky conditions. So that means, one moment. Excuse me, I thought I had to sneeze there, so I wanted to turn the mic down just in case I did, but I think we're good. We'll see. But we're looking at visibility that is perhaps above a mile at some point. I don't see us really getting to a mile around 11 a.m. So, this might be a little bit optimistic here over the course of the next few hours. And so just be prepared to kind of be locked in that fog for a while longer yet. And in fact, we do have that dense fog advisory in effect until noon today. It does include some new areas since we were on the valley today this morning, and that's those areas in Minnesota that we just showed you on the DOT map that are struggling a bit. Becker, Otter Tail, Wadena counties, Wilkin, and Grant and Traverse counties have been added to the watch, or excuse me, the advisory that we have in effect until noon for dense fog, and that makes sense given what we just saw. Okay, so I'm bringing a little segment back we did at the start of the school year called Learning with Lisa. I like to have a little bit of fun, and so why not talk about what's causing all of this? So, there are different types of fog, or fogs formed in different ways. It can fog over or form over water as fog, as steam fog. It can form as the atmosphere cools overnight. That's called radiation fog. But this type of fog, this we see a lot of times during the winter months when we've got a snowpack and we get a warm up. We get warmer air moving in. And we just recently saw this around Christmas, and then we kind of cooled back down again and it cleared away, and then we get this warm up coming here as temperatures have been rising, and we'll show you those temperatures in a moment, but we get that warm up and then we're now seeing more fog here. So I want to show you in our Learning with Lisa segment what that is. Okay, so we're talking about what's called advection fog, and advection is just a fancy word that meteorologists use to describe the movement of air horizontally. So moving in from the south or moving in from the west, or directions not up or down but across essentially. And so this is fog that's as a result of the movement of air into an area, and so an air mass coming in. So that's what that advection means when we talk about advection fog. So what you need for that to form is cold ground, and you need warmer, moist air moving in, and that's what we've been seeing, and that's been moving in from the south or southeast, and as that passes over that colder ground or the snowpack that we're seeing, that can lead to that air starts to cool down, and it cools down to what we call saturation. So it cools down to the temperature, the dew point temperature, and so we see dew in the air start to form. It's not dew, but just to kind of use that same analogy. So we see those water vapor turn into cloud droplets, and that forms right over us and right within the air that we are in. So then we see that fog develop. And so this typically occurs when we've got warmer air moving in. Sometimes there's a warm front passing through. Sometimes it's warm air aloft at times that works its way down. And we're seeing that warmer air moving in. So it's passing over this snowpack and it's cooling. And as it does so, it cools into those it condenses that water vapor into those cloud drops. So that's, little info for you. So what we really need for that to go away is for that air to move on, for that air to be acted upon by wind to help, kind of scatter it out. We need maybe some drying working its way in as well. Temperatures to rise, that helps the air to dry a little bit. It can reduce the humidity in the air, but it really, depends on several factors, and we need some change to happen within the air mass if the snow doesn't melt right away for that fog to move on. So this is going to be with us for a little bit. It's going to stick with us through the day today. We're not seeing much wind out there, and until we see a change in our air mass, another system move through to sweep out that kind of stagnant air, we will be kind of stuck with this. So let's take a look at, again, just some reminders. I know we all know this stuff, but it's good to be reminded of it, especially because everybody's heading back to school and work today. So you got kids out and about again, walking to and from school. And so more pedestrians, more kids out at the bus stop. And so, just a reminder here to slow down and give yourself extra travel time while we're dealing with this over the next 24 hours or so. Extra stopping distance, especially because it's freezing fog. fog, and then keep in mind to use those low beams. Don't use your high beams. And again, look out for people in cars. We should always be doing that, right? But especially as, you know, it's going to be harder to see those people in cars. You might want to take that extra look before pulling out into traffic, that kind of thing. So just some quick reminders there. Okay, so here's a look at our radar. You can see that we've got two main areas of clouds showing up here, north and south. This is not necessarily meaning that we're clear in between. The fog not picked up well on the infrared satellite layer here. You can see where we've got higher clouds, colder clouds that the infrared's able to pick up a little bit better up by the international border, up toward Langdon. And that may be also producing some areas of what looks like a little bit of light snow or some freezing drizzle in this area too. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more and pause this. And we're looking at, you know, right along the international border. So up toward places like the Pembina Gorge, Walhalla, seeing some of that potential precip. And that stretches back over through northern parts of Cavalier County and back into, looks like northeastern parts of Towner County. So I'm seeing mostly just fog in this area, but there is the potential that, well, I've got an interesting image here on our page. You can see looks like Highway 5 west of Cavalier, low visibility. We've got frost on the trees. Looks like that semi is hitting some water potentially on the road there. So yeah, I mean, we're looking at you know, some reduced visibility here too, and there might be some additional either flurries or some drizzle coming down potentially there too. Right now it's looking like the form of snowflakes in that shade of blue. Okay, so here's your wind speeds. This is a big factor here. We're not seeing much wind. It's either calm, the air's calm, or wind speed is up to 12 miles per hour. It's out of the south or east or southeast. For most areas, though, you can see it's kind of variable too when it's that light. Overall, we've got that warmer air moving in out of the south here, but not like wind to keep the air mixed and keep it moving and from settling down to the dew point temperature. So here's a look at our wind forecast. It's not much. We're not going to see really any wind through the rest of the day today. It's going to stay light, so that's not going to help us out much. And temperatures are warmer, again, moving over that colder snowpack, but they're not warm enough. And so we're looking at some numbers into the 20s right now, 27 in Fargo, 25 in Grand Forks. So, you know, as the cloud drops hit surfaces, colder surfaces, they're going to freeze to them because we are below freezing. Langdon is at 19, Badette's at 19 as well. Though it is mild for this time of year, we're looking at temperatures well above average. Average highs are in the teens right now. So here's a look at our hour-by-hour planner. This is how we started out this morning. Fog, you could see that fog is basically this kind of line right here. Fog, and more fog coming our way here in the forecast as we continue on. And we'll continue to see that potential for a little drizzle or freezing drizzle. You can see that a little bit of a fleck of pink here in Grand Forks County, a little bit of blue at noon. So not too long from now up along the international border. We're kind of seeing that right now. And I can't rule that out as we continue on through the afternoon and even into the evening hours for today. So we're going to continue to see temperatures rise a little bit. We're going to be back into the 20s to some 30s as well. And I just went to our website to look at our sky cams. I mentioned how there's this fog line here. I want to show you how it's looking in Bismarck right now. Here we go. Bismarck's looking pretty good. We've got some blue sky mixed in with a few clouds, and there is a little bit of fog on the horizon, but it doesn't look too bad. And Minot looks fantastic, but also looks like a little bit of fog on the horizon there. But it's nice to see that sun in Minot. We are not getting that here for today, unfortunately. Dickinson also looking really nice too. So again, we are going to be stuck under those foggy skies as we continue on into drive time this evening and into tonight. And then we'll continue on here. Overnight, it'll be more of the same. The fog may continue or worsen after getting better potentially. And so by the time we get into tomorrow morning, we've got our next wave moving in. And this does bring a chance for some flakes a little bit of freezing rain potential here. You see that pink on the map along the Dakota border. But I do want to point out the wind direction. It starts to turn northwesterly. That's some drier air taking over, and that will likely be the difference maker when it comes to ditching out from the fog. Here's something to smile about. It's National Bird Day, and I know we've got a lot of birders around here, so I wanted to make sure to acknowledge that. Looking at temperatures today, 20s to some low 30s. You're not going to be able to see too many birds out there today with the fog that we've got going on. I have no idea what kind of birds these are. If you know, let me know. We get a lot of pictures in of wildlife and birds, and so if you've taken some recently that you want to share, we'd love to see them and share them on this National Bird Day. Okay, let's take a look at, okay, we've already done this. Let's move ahead. So basically, this is, again, our forecast over the next 24 hours or so. We're watching out for the snow. We're watching out for the freezing drizzle possible in the southern end of the valley. Let's take a look at the day tomorrow. So this is 8 a.m. So unfortunately, if we do see, some snow, not everybody will. As you see here, there's wide areas that aren't seeing much of anything. It's just going to be foggy. And then there's some places where we've got some snow moving through eastern North Dakota. But this is, right at 8 a.m. So watching out for the potential for some snow or, again, freezing drizzle to potentially impact your kids' wait out at the bus stop, your drive into work during the morning hours. Not everybody, but some may. And so always good to check back with us. Heading into mid-morning, you can see that snow transitioning eastward over time, and eventually by around noon, we're starting to quiet things down and looking at some conditions that are going to be on the drier side once that moves on. So by 2 o'clock, I'm not seeing anything here as far as precip is concerned. We're seeing some breaks in the clouds. So this is when I'm hoping we will see the fog move on, when we start to get that northwesterly flow coming in for us during the morning hours at some point in the valley. It may not clear up for your morning commute right away. And some of us may see snow or that little bit of freezing drizzle for that morning commute as well before we see that improvement. But still, we'll see improvement happening as we go through the course of the day as far as visibility is concerned for fog. And let's see here, just checking to see. We won't have much wind, so going to be really relying on just that general direction of flow. So let's move on into the next couple of days. Tomorrow, again, watching out for some snow chances in a couple of areas. Not everybody will see it. And we'll be into the 20s for the day tomorrow, staying below freezing. But you can see Wednesday, big warm-up coming our way. We'll be watching for that on Wednesday. And I'm hoping with that warm-up we don't deal with fog. I'm hoping that we'll get to see some sunshine. But it is, if we don't have enough wind, it is a possibility. And I'm just looking at our winds coming up for Wednesday. Not a lot. But, 10 miles per hour. We'll see. But Wednesday does look warm coming up here in the forecast. Okay, let's take a look at our 11-day planner. This warm stretch continues. We'll be into the 20s and 30s basically Monday through Friday this week. And we'll be watching for that chance for, some showers, especially tomorrow. Friday and into Saturday, still watching out for that system we talked about last week. However, if we see it form into something substantial, and that is a big question. Right now, the track also looks to be kind of missing us. Not necessarily completely, but more into Minnesota and Wisconsin. We could get brushed by it, especially in our western Minnesota communities, Lakes Country area. So we'll be watching. We could see some snow showers associated with it. The wind might pick up a little too. So that's for the end of the week. You can see we cool down on Saturday. And then heading into next week, the following week, it's more the same, more 20s to 30 degrees, which is kind of wild to be into what is statistically some of our coldest on average days of the year here in the valley. Our average highs are some of the lowest that we see for this area right now and heading further into the month as well. Our average high for today's date is 18, and that is one of our low average high. So we are definitely into what, typically on average has been the coldest time of the year, but right now we're seeing temperatures well above average in the forecast, at least for the time being. If you've watched any of our videos and updates on the outlooks, the 1 month, the 3 month outlook, the outlook is for us to trend below average. So what's more likely will, on the whole, overall, end up below average for temperatures in January and for the next 3 months, January, February, and March. But at least for the first half of the month, it's looking pretty mild here. I hope that doesn't mean that the second half of the month, the bottom is going to drop out, but we'll have to keep an eye out for that as we move further into January and beyond into more of winter time. So welcome back from the holidays. If you've been away, if you're back at work, if you've sent the kids back off to school, we're looking at weather that is more comfortable to be outside and running those errands and getting to work, but we are having to watch out for some slick spots, some road spray, the low visibility because of the fog here today, and that does carry on until at least tomorrow. So I'm hoping we get a break once that little wave moves through and helps to clear out some of the air and bring in a little drier air coming up in the forecast. So I think that's it for me here. If you've got any questions, let me see if we have any questions from you. Not seeing any here this morning. You can always ask those questions when our afternoon crew is on, coming up this afternoon with another update on this first alert weather day. Hopefully the fog will be a little bit better at that point, but just be prepared for that fog to hang around through the day and all the way through tonight into tomorrow morning. And then hopefully, fingers crossed, we can see that fog move on. So we will say goodbye and again, wish you a happy Monday, happy return back to reality after return to the grind after we've had some nice time off in the holidays. And hopefully your New Year's getting started off well. Here, this has been your weather update brought to you by 1-800-WATER Damage of North Dakota.
There's no such thing as a small disaster. So when you call 1-800-WATER Damage of North Dakota, we come prepared to restore your life back to normal. From burst pipes to unexpected mold discoveries or fire damage, when things couldn't be worse, we come to you with our best. With empathy, local expertise, and a truck full of seriously powerful equipment. 1-800-WATER Damage of North Dakota. Restoring what matters most. 701-670-2022.